It's Lori, Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States coming to you from Wisconsin. And we're going to kind of do a redo from yesterday and see how it goes. Let's see if I have sound. I might not have sound. I restarted my phone. All right, it looks like we're okay, just not on my tablet. Oh, there we go. It's just really, really delayed. All right. So let's go through our couple of quickie announcements. Did you know that Stampin' Up! Has, Yuda, welcome! Stampin' Up! Has another virtual album retreat scheduled. Mark your calendar for April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. Yay, be there, be square. And then those of you who are demonstrators, don't forget now is the time when you can actually send catalogs out to your folks. For the upcoming catalog, you can get that mail selector done. So all of my Stampin' Up! Things you can find at latenightlori.stampinup.net. So new products, promos coming up, catalogs when they release, my store, it's all there. And we only have about 52 more minutes for anybody interested in joining to get this super Stampin' Positioner for free when you join. Okay? Lots of benefits to joining. Discounts, early access to catalogs, early access to products, super events, a great community to cohort with. And we'll see if tomorrow this new product of the month releases. So product of the month started in December. With qualifying orders, you can add the stamp set for just $5. Let's get down to business. Yuda, how are you? I wish I had sound so that you guys could talk back and I could actually listen instead of trying to read, because my tablet is super far behind. Super, super far behind. Oh, I might have just got it kind of caught up. We'll see. All right, so last night we did this magic slider card. And with your help, we got it done. I'd never done one before, and I didn't have a tutorial. You're home again, yay. It's always nice to get home, don't you think? So I thought tonight we would try to do, by popular demand, there were some folks that were saying, let's do it again, let's do it again. So we're going to try another one. Wish me luck. So I thought I would use this Gallery Blooms. And I don't know if this is from the annual catalog. Let me go grab mine. I've had this for so long, I've kind of forgotten where it came from. And of course, I can't find my spiral bound catalog. So I just have to look in another one. Gallery Blooms. So it's in our annual catalog. Page 55. Let's take a look. You know, we kind of get online exclusives going on and mini catalogs, and we forget about some of the stuff that's in our annual catalog, right? And we do have a new catalog coming out in May. It's going to be a little different, but I'm excited. I'm excited about it. So, oh, I wonder, do I have that? I thought I ordered that one. I wonder what happened to it. probably have used it. Huh. I thought I ordered it. Maybe not. Anyway, this is some very muted paper. I think it's really pretty. And I thought we would try to do our slider card sideways. Does that sound like a dangerous proposition? Wish me luck, right? So I've got the basic beige, and I thought if we did it like a regular card, we could do, I was actually going to use the Everyday Arches. What do you think? Hello, Rosa. Welcome. What do you think if we tried the Everyday Arches? I was hoping that would work. So if we do this sideways, I thought we could put a layer on like so. And I wondered if I put this, if I fussy cut these, let me see if I have another piece of this in case I screw it up. I don't. Do I dare? Should I dare try it? Why not, right? Oops, yeah. Let's give it a try. So let's do a little fussy cutting here. And Juju's not, or yeah, Juju's not even here to cheer me on. We're supposed to have, is it a blood moon lunar eclipse tonight? Or this morning? Like, for me, I guess it's supposed to be like around 5 a.m. I don't think I'm going to be up at 5 a.m. But MacMan went out and said the moon has like a reddish glow around it or something, and I was going to go out and look at it, and then I got busy doing this stuff. So we'll just have to go take a look before I go to bed, I think, and just see what it looks like. I thought the report was something like the eclipse was supposed to last like an hour or something, which seems kind of long. I suppose start to finish, that would make sense. This is a little more involved than I expected it to be for just some simple flowers. It'll be worth it though. It's going to be gorgeous, right? We'll stick with that. It's going to be gorgeous. I haven't used this set for quite a long time. I think I last might have used it like before Christmas. You know, like I was saying, the new catalogs that come in and the online exclusives and the kits kind of overshadow the annual catalog, and we forget all of the fun things that were in it when we first got it. I do anyway. You know, it's that squirrel moment when all the new things come and then you forget about all the other stuff you were excited about at one point. That wasn't too bad. Hopefully that wasn't too painful to watch. So this will kind of put up on our top layer. I kind of have a little vision, so we'll see, because that'll kind of go there-ish. We might trim it down a little bit. This obviously has to get trimmed to a better size. And then this can go on this side. And again, we may have to trim it down, but We can decide that once I have it all fussy cut, and then I can cut off my hard work, right? Because sometimes I don't think far enough ahead. I just have stuff in my head and figure we'll get there eventually. Because that's just how I roll. So Yuta, for you, it's 3:30 in the morning for the eclipse. You can do it. When I was working, I used to always say sleep was overrated because I would stay up late and then I'd have to get up early for work. Well, now I can stay up late, but I don't necessarily have to get up early since I retired. Somebody was asking me about that today. Oh, when we went to the dentist, we had dental appointments, no cavities. And the dental assistant said, how long is it that you've been retired? What is it, about a year? I said, no, in April it'll be 2 years already that I've been retired. And my friend Linda tells me, you're rocking retirement. I do really like it. So as soon as you can retire, do. I highly recommend it. I think it was a little harder for my husband to get used to not being on the go all the time, and he had a really stressful job too. Mine was stressful in different ways, but when you're in public safety and public service, it's a different kind of stress from, you know, maybe working in retail or in a dental office or something, you know, different kind of stuff. So he had a harder time, I think, adjusting. Of course, I was still working when he retired, so he might have just been pining for me. He was happy when I retired. All right, we're getting there. We're on the home stretch. I want to somehow make this bright when we do the pullout, so I thought when I color the floral image, we could make it bright. Like I brought out yellows. So to me, I'm kind of looking at these almost as if they're peonies. I know they're probably roses. But I have some beautiful peonies in my front yard. Dark pink, light pink, almost white. And then a couple of years ago, I bought a new one, and it's yellow, and it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's burnish this and start laying stuff out here. We'll see if the steps seem a little easier today, although I'm doing it sideways, so hard to tell. So I think what we'll do is put some tear and tape on this right away, because we're going to do this. And normally I just tear my tear and tape, but for this I thought I would make it neater. Don't ask me why, but maybe because I wanted it to go a little straighter at the edge. So now, the other thing we could do, and I won't this time because I already have this, excuse me, I already have this scored, but you could actually score it like on either side of the normal score line so that it's open a little bit, you know, more like a little box. And then you could use like adhesive strips to make it a little bigger so it's easier to slide in and out. That thought occurred to me earlier, and then I didn't do anything about it because it slipped my mind right now. So we've got that piece. Let's do this piece. and make it instead of 4 1/4, let's go to 4 1/8. And then instead of 5 1/2, we'll go to 5 3/8. So I'll have a nice little border around here just with the basic beige. We're gonna gut this out. So let's just see what dye. What did I use yesterday? I use these. Let's see if I cut it with this one. If that is big enough. I might just gut it by hand. I think we'll do that. Because then I can get a little closer to the edge than what those dyes will do for me. Because I don't want to have to go through my card base a layer. Although if we put these on, how did I have that? Oh, that's down here. We're going to end up doing something like this. Oh, we'll have to make that quite a bit smaller, huh? That's okay. That's okay. I'm just going to be cutting off the straight edges anyway. Yeah, that might work. Then I won't even have to gut it, right? I'll glue this on. And I'm just going to kind of glue around the edge because the other part's going to get cut out. Because if we do the everyday arches, it's going to get cut out there anyway. Well, it is what it is. Because I'm thinking now, I was going to use that, but I'm using these instead, so yeah, never mind. I distracted myself just a little bit there. I can't get this to shift. I probably didn't make my glue quite thick enough. There. All right, and then let's do this out of the center. Oh, that's good, Rosa. I know you said your son usually calls, and that's nice. My kids don't call as much as they used to. Either I was just a horrible mother or I raised independent children. Hopefully I raised independent children and they don't hate their mother, but you never know. All right, so let's go ahead. We might not even use this, but this is how I colorized this before. I think that was like right about, no, that wasn't there. It doesn't matter, but I just used blending brush there and then colored the leaves. So we'll see how it goes. I should probably, though, stamp my acetate. So let's get a piece of cardstock that's 3 1/2 by 4 1/2 because I'm going to cut these to be the same size. Oh, he's studying for a test. What is he in school for? I'm guessing it's a test for some kind of school, not for work. Or it could be work for work. All right. So if I do that like that, this is going to go here. It's actually going to be kind of like this. And I'm actually going to put my glue dots on either side of where I'm going to put that hole punch. Because, oh, no, it'll go here. Because I think that'll work better. Ooh, a master's degree in computer science. Good for him. He should be able to find a good job with that, right? All right. What next? Let's No, this is gonna go like this. And then I need a piece that's folded this way. I need a bigger piece. Let me go get another piece of this. And I need this cut down to 4.5. So then he can take care of his mom in his old age, right? Or in her old age. My son always said when he made it big, he would pay off my house. Well, that didn't happen yet. And then here, we're gonna make this a little shorter. Because that can actually go in quite a bit, right? Because this just has to be able to, oh, that's not going to be long enough. What was I thinking? What did I do? I'll make this smaller because it has to go inside here. So I could actually make that a little bit bigger. Good thing it's only paper. Thanks for popping in, Yuta. Good to see you. Well, yeah, see you're typing. So if we go, let's just go instead of 5.5, let's go to 5. Right? 5. Let's see if that looks better. Oh, and I can use this for my stop piece. So that'll come here. It's still a little big, so let's shimmy just a little bit more off of there. Maybe another 1/4 inch. So that's 4 3/4 if this works. Yep, 4 3/4 will work there. And then let's cut a little bit off of the end here. So this will go in like this. All right, so we're going to cut this down a little bit. So if this is 4.5, let's do this at 4. I think that'll work. Because then we'll have enough space to cut our little slot here. So if I need there and there, we're going to cut that little slot so that our slider can come out of here. So I need to cut this down to 4 inches as well. And then who knew, when you have little glue gobbers on here, I lifted it off with a piece of tape and it came off really nice. I don't know why I didn't think about that before. All right, so let's go ahead and cut my little slot here. And we're gonna go just a little wider. And a little wider. And then we're going to cut this out so we get a little rectangle there. And then I just need to cut this part off because it didn't quite cut through. Oh, I guess I can do this way. It was almost through. And I'll just neaten that up with my snips. I always wonder with new catalogs coming out, what exciting things will be in there. We know about the new stamp pads that'll be coming out for the in colors in May. So remember, the outgoing in colors from 2024 to 2026 are Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, Peach Pie, Pretty in Pink, I think. Let me go take a look. No, Strawberry Slush. No, it is Pretty in Pink. Petunia Pop. So we've got Petunia Pop going, Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, Peach Pie, and Pretty in Pink. Those are the 5 colors that are going out. All right, so if you really like those colors, if those colors are still available, you'll want to get whatever cardstock or inks or re-inkers you want, or if you want the blends. As it comes closer to when those retire, they'll sell out more. So keep that in mind if it's something you really want. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this in right away. Now, the way I saw it is this didn't need to be sealed, but I might actually seal it so that it's got a stronger track for this to go in and out of. I didn't make this slot big enough because it's got to go this way. I bet I did it this way. I did. All right, so let's make this slot a little bit bigger. We'll go there and there. I thought maybe Allie would pop in with us tonight because she said she wanted to see it done again. So I don't usually do the same kind of fun fold 2 nights in a row, but I kind of wanted to get this stuck in my head a little bit more so that I remember how to do it. So this will go here. And then this is going to slide in and out of here. Like so. And we can actually put some adhesive here so that when we close this down, it is more stuck here. Because this is a little wider than the one from last night when we went out the top. Yeah, we went this way. We're doing this one sideways. So let's go ahead and get this stamped because I need to make sure that our StazOn dries. So we're going to do the cardstock piece first. And we're going to put that right here. I'm not worried about the stem. I would rather have the floral piece in where I want it. So then let's take our top plate, pick up our stamp. And yes, paper will come up because it sticks. But that's why there's the positioning marking in here. There's a little triangle here that shows where your paper should sit. All right, so let's go ahead and get our StazOn. I said it last night, but I'm going to say it again. I love the smell of StazOn. It's delicious. It's like almond. All right, so when I set this down, it is not yet touching my paper. So if I don't like where my paper is, I can reposition it, right? Oh, and I didn't really need stays on for my, I could have done regular Memento ink, and I probably should have because I was planning on doing this with alcohol blends. And that would work better with Memento ink. So let me do this again, and I'm going to put Memento on there. Let's see if I can just do it with Memento. Let's clean this off with some Stays-On cleaner. Stays-On really likes to stick to paper. I should have thought about that ahead of time. But again, that's me. Not always thinking. So we'll just get all of that off, and then I'll use my chamois. So at least when you watch me do this, you know what you shouldn't do. You can learn from my mistakes. So we want to use Memento on here. So I'm just going to flip this over, I think, rather than try to match it up. So let's get the Memento. And we'll do this again. We'll need the Stays-On for the acetate, the window sheet. Let's see how this looks. That looks nice. All right, so now, where did my acetate sheet go? Here it is. Now what I did last night is I put my acetate sheet on there. And I'm actually going to take this down a little bit to help so that it doesn't move. And then let's clean this off again so we can use the Stays-On. And that's because I've got that acetate, that window sheet on top. The chamois will definitely be your friend if you get this positioning tool. Hopefully we're one and done with this one. And then we can, oh, that's going to be gorgeous. Very nice. I love it. All right, I am going to set that over there and let it just kind of dry off a little bit. So let's keep working here. We can get this out of the way. Let's clean this off again. And like I mentioned last night, when I use my Stays-On cleaner and I'm done, I like to just dab off the extra color from that sponge until it's pretty clean. Have you used your new stamp set yet, Rosa? Your weekend adventures? What did you make? I think I'll leave that on there just in case I have to redo something. You just never know with me. It could happen. I really like that new positioning tool, let me tell you. All right, this piece I don't need. Let's get that out of my way. This piece I need. This piece I need. We need to cut this out because that's going to go like here. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is maybe do a frame piece on here because this arch is going to leave just a little bit taller of a hole than I want because it doesn't, the framelit goes a little too far. But if I do the next smaller one, it seems too small. Maybe I should do that one. That one will, actually that one will work. I should probably have made this piece a little longer, but we're going to put it, well, we'll live and learn. Maybe we will use this one. I think that's pretty close to centered. And we're going to cut this out. So let's get Bossy Bessie out here. Oh, I did not get a card yet. I will let you know when I do. And if you don't mind, I will share it too. All right, let me get, since we might be looking at the inside of our card, I'm going to put this on here because I don't want all the, oh, it's not going to matter because this is going to be glued shut. It doesn't matter. Never mind. Sometimes I'll put that down. Thank you, Rosa. Sometimes I'll put a piece of copier paper down just so the ratty lines here don't show up on the other side of my card that I might need to look at, but we don't need to worry about that here for this one. Hey, Juju, welcome. And I'm just going to run this through one more time. It doesn't look like it quite went through all the way. And I would rather not fight with it. I'd rather just send it through a second time. And hope that that works, because it's pretty thick. Yep, that worked. How are you tonight, Juju? Or this morning, rather? Are you going to be up early enough for the lunar eclipse? You know, I'm probably not going to need the frame on there because we're going to put these other flowers on there, right? So this is going to go like so. How did I get another smudge on there? I don't know how I do that. So that'll go here. But we have to color this one. This is going to go in here. And this will pull out to here. So let's put a little stopper on there. Because that just needs to be a little longer than our slit. I want a giveaway. What giveaway? I didn't know there was a giveaway. I wasn't even there tonight. And I'm going to make this a little narrower. Oh, I did comment last night in a replay. Because I don't think I made it to your live. I'm going to put this on the back. So that's going to catch it there. All right, so let's put a little tear and tape on this. I think that'll work good. Oh, wait, I don't need it to go all the way to the edge. I just needed to cover the card part. You would think I would be a pro at this from having done it just last night, right? Well, that's fun. Thanks for letting me know. I didn't know there was a giveaway. Woohoo! It's not very often that I win anything. You know, if I just do this, it doesn't have to be super wide. I'm going to cut the rest of this off because that'll mean that that insert gets to come out a little bit more. But I don't want to leave this on here with the tear and tape on there because it'll get stuck, right? So is that announced early in your live? So when I go back and replay, do I need to be paying close attention for a bit? Because sometimes I start to listen and then I work on stuff and I just let it run. Because I know having watch hours helps. So that ought to work. So I do think what I want to do though, oh, that won't work. So I was thinking if we put some adhesive on here, that would help this slide straighter, but it really won't because this won't move. So never mind that idea. About midway through, all right, I'll make sure that I pay attention. And then we're gonna put this right about there. And that'll close like that. We're gonna put these on here. I'm going to make that much smaller. Much smaller. Let's pencil mark this. And then I'll do it like a 1/16 of an inch smaller than this even. So there's my line. You might not be able to see the pencil line, but I might not be able to see the pencil line either. Where did the other one go? Oh, it's got to be that right there. Hello, Allie. Oh, you've been here 20 minutes. Awesome. So did you hear me say, oh, I thought Allie would pop in because she's the one that wanted to see this card again. So that's going to go right about there. So let's go ahead and glue that down. You are working on your cards for your senior group. That's awesome. Yeah, your ears should have been ringing because I mentioned you. It was a nice mention. It wasn't like nasty that you weren't here or anything. It's just, yeah, I thought Allie would come. I need to put a little bit more glue down there, I guess. Because we don't want that popping up. You tried to watch from last night, but it wouldn't come up. Oh, that's because it sits for about 24 hours before it gets re-released as a public video. All right. And then these are going to come down here. And what I'm looking at here is where I've fussy cut. Juju, you missed it. I was fussy cutting on camera. Sala, welcome. I'm a little behind on my comments because my iPad is a little behind. It's so nice to see you. I was just thinking today I needed to send you another little message because it's been a piece since I've reached out. How are you? I'm going to make this line a little deeper because it's going to be easier for me to see. And I'm not pulling my trimmer in just because you all know how to cut. So we're making a magic slider card. I did one last night too, but I was hoping tonight would be a little smoother of a run. Now I could make this a little. I'm going to cut just a 1/16 inch of an off. I forgot. We'll go like this. It'll be fine. Just a sliver. That's all right. It's all right to take a social media hiatus. That's all right. You do what you got to do. And I have been all right. So now I think what I can do is I'm going to move this over a little bit and I'm going to mark here so that I kind of know where the glue can go. Because I'm going to put the glue in here now because I think that makes a little bit more sense. Hopefully my pencil marks won't be visible because I took it down and over, so they should be covered because this is just going to the edge of that mossy meadow. So you cannot see my pencil marks. So when I took it down to the corner, my pencil marks for the glue were down lower than what that designer series paper is going to be. That's kind of pretty. I'm going to put just a little bit more glue down here. How's Amanda doing? Oh, I got my thumbs up here. Got my thumbs up. And then Alex is your other daughter, right? Alexandra? All right, so let's see if this little piece is dry. It is. All right, so now what we're going to do is that's going to go there. We're going to line it up perfectly though, like so. Let's go ahead and color this. We're getting there. Isn't that pretty? So essentially what's going to happen is this is going to get attached in here. We're going to color this piece and it's going to get hid inside that layer. This is going to go on top. And then when this goes like this, it's going to look just like plain flowers until we pull it out. And then it's going to reveal this piece that's going to be all colored. Now I had considered too doing one of these and having this as a door. So that might be another, I'd have to set my die so that it doesn't cut all the way through on this side. So we'll see. All right, so let's color this. And I have, I've got a bunch of the different greens for the leaves. Yeah, this is the Gallery Blooms set. It's from the annual catalog. And then the Everyday Arches is for this one. And I think I'm going to use this Thanks from the Everyday Arches to just put a little sentiment somewhere. I could probably even put it on there and emboss it. Maybe emboss it in white. Let's see, where is my thanks? Thanks, thanks, thanks. There it is. Should I try to just put that on there and emboss it in white? Or should I put a separate piece? We can think on that. We'll think on that one. Has everybody seen the new stamp pads? Don't worry about this color, but this is a Close to My Heart stamp pad. Stampin' Up! Bought the rights to it, and these are the new ink pads that we're getting. They're magnetized. So when you set it down, you can put your top on there. Whoops. And they stay together. You can put re-inker or ink in there and do water painting. They're going to be so much easier for everybody to open. Yay. Sorry. Squirrel. I got distracted because it was sitting off to the side. So let's go ahead and color this. So I've got some Lemon Lime Twist because I know that's one of Juju's favorites. It's not going to look as bright on here because of the basic beige paper that I used here, the cardstock. But I still think it'll look pretty. And I think I'm just going to put the Lemon Lime Twist on the entire leaf all the way around. And I know these are probably supposed to be roses, and I already talked about that because I have peonies in my front yard, and I bought a yellow one 2 years ago. I think this will be its 3rd year, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This Lemon Lime Twist is awesome. And Lemon Lime Twist with Night of Navy, I think, is my favorite color combination. So let's do a little green down here too, maybe. We'll do green there. Okay. And then let's do a little Old Olive, I think, right? And we'll just add a little Old Olive. And that's light Old Olive, and I'm going to use some dark Old Olive also. And then I think I'm going to come back in with that Lemon Lime Twist. And blend those just a little bit more. I feel really artistic when I use these alcohol blends because they do so much of the work on their own. And what was this, my Lemon Lime Twist? White, yeah. You used to do Close to Your Heart, but the stamping pads were different then. Yeah, I was so glad that Stampin' Up! Bought the rights to that product. I had my fingers crossed that they would. I knew a gal who came over to Stampin' Up! From Close to My Heart, and she shared, we were doing a swap, and so those were the only ink pads she had were the Close to My Heart ones. And I looked at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love these. I hope Stampin' Up! Does this. And now, 2 years later, they're doing it. There, I like that. And then I thought I would just do some blending, but I'm gonna go get my alcohol blends instead. Because that will probably give me a little bit more control than blending brushes. So I'm gonna do darker in the centers. And I'm using the bullet point instead of the brush here. I think this is the dark one, yeah. And then we're gonna do bright, because it doesn't look so bright here. But hopefully it'll look stunning enough. It looks a little dull, so hopefully priming it with the Lemon Lolly Dark Darling Duckling. Okay, let's do. Well, this might not have the wow effect that I was hoping, but I think it's still going to be pretty. Hopefully it'll still be pretty. Now, on your cardstock, make sure that you're using the Memento ink, because the alcohol blends, if you use StazOn, it's a solvent, so they're going to mess each other up. That looks too similar between the greens and the yellows. Let me go get some Calypso Coral ones, and maybe we'll make it orangish instead. I'm just gonna, the orange might work better. Think I should do it orange or leave it yellowish? Calypso Coral or yellowish? Any suggestions? I think the muted tones work well together. It doesn't. Wow factor. Okay. And now that it's drying, it does look more yellow to me. I suppose on camera it looks a little yellowish too. I could probably zoom in a little bit here. So you can see the difference. Now that it's drying, this does look more yellow. All right. We'll just leave well enough alone. All right, let's go back to here. We are going to put this piece in here. And we're going to go ahead and attach this down here. And I think we're going to kind of put it up to the edge so that this comes out far enough. Oh, before I do that, I want to put, we want a little notch in here, remember? I almost forgot about that. Of course, we wouldn't really need to have the notch. It just cuts down on the bulk. So if we have a notch here, and I was going to use, sorry about that. That wasn't supposed to happen. I was going to use this to make a notch so that the ribbon that we put in here, and I actually have, this is old, this is retired. This is a braided linen trim, that's the Mossy Meadow. But it's narrow, it's like an 1/8 inch. I think it's an 1/8 inch, 3/16 of an inch. But I thought that would work. So we probably don't even need that big of a notch. But then we're gonna cut out some of the flower too. We might just leave it without a notch for this one. Let's wing it without the notch. We'll still use the ribbon, but we'll do it without the notch. All right, let's go back to plan A. So let's go ahead and glue this down on the inside. And my ink bottle is starting to decide it doesn't want to flow because it's almost empty. All right, so we want to make sure that our opening is to the fold because we need our slot to be at the opening. And for those of you that weren't here last night, I will show that card in just a minute. All right. So we just need to make sure that this piece is narrower than where we have our adhesive strips because this is going to close like this. And then I didn't last night, but I'm going to tonight. I'm going to put some tear and tape here as well so that we kind of seal up that opening. All right, so let's just go like so. And hopefully it won't be a mistake. But I think it'll work. And my thumb split and I was looking for Band-Aids. I thought I had some in here, but I must have used them all. All right, so that's gonna go like that. That's gonna get sealed shut. But now with this piece, remember I put the stopper piece on here so that that's as wide as this piece. And then this is gonna slide here, but then it's gonna stop before it comes out of our slit. All right, well, I don't have the tutorial. So last night was our first attempt. So tonight it's the second attempt, but I think it's going all right. All right, now our window sheet piece is going to come here and we're gonna lay it exactly on top. Now, the cardstock piece is under this. The acetate piece is going to be on the top, all right? And then, you know what we could do? I should have probably hung on to that other little piece that had adhesive on it because we could probably put that. No, because it'll hit that. We can't. Never mind. I was just looking at a way that I could make sure that this stays where it needs to be. All right. We'll figure that out in a second. I might add a little piece here, depending on how far that goes in, just to kind of keep it straight. All right, so I am going to use 2 glue dots tonight. So instead of having just one in the center, I'm going to put 2 on each side because when we do our hole punch for our ribbon, let's see if I have a smaller one. When we do the hole punch for the ribbon, and we can't get these anymore, but this one is a Stampin' Up! One. This was this is a Fiskars one. I want it to be lined up nicely. But we need to, never mind. We need to put a little piece on there. That's what I could do this for. No, we had a circle yesterday. Although we could just put the ribbon in there. Who's going to care, right? Can you see? Look at that. Isn't that slick? Woohoo! Magic. let me put my glue dots on. We'll try to go a little bit more in order, Lori. All right, so let's do a little glue dot over here. A little glue dot over here. Oh, I guess I need that a little bit closer. Because and we are going to have to put that tab piece on there because I guess I'll get another glue dot. That one became more of a booger than anything else. We do need them a little closer together. There we go. Oh, thanks for the hearts. Yeah, that does give it the wow factor. I agree. So I want to line this up exactly. Put that down. And now I think what I'm going to try to do is hole punch these 2 layers. Because that might be a little easier. There. Last night it was a struggle because I was trying to go through so many layers. All right. And then we're going to make, I think I kind of like that. I wonder, because that's going to show when they open this up, that's going to show on the back. I'm going to get another piece of mossy metal. I kind of have a plan here. Did I get rid of all my mossy metal? I did. Or you could use, no, we'll use mossy metal. We'll see if this is big enough. So if this comes out here, no, I need it to be a little bit wider than that, so we'll go here. All right, let me cut this in half first. I thought it would be a little different than yesterday's with the Cute as a Bug. All right, so let's see, this is 3.5 by 4. Okay, so I'm gonna go like this, and then I want to, those are glued together. Not anymore. All right, so let's do this 3.5. Sorry, I'm trying to think out loud. All right, so this is gonna get glued on here. Hopefully it won't make it too bulky. I'm going to glue that on there. And then I'm going to put this piece, I think like this, and fold it over and make like a, well, maybe I should do that. No, that can't go there. That's got to go there. This would be fun to put a white layer on. We could put the sentiment on the back of there too, right? Sally, you're so sweet. All right, so let's go ahead and get this glued on. See, Sally, I need you. To remind people. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I should have done this ahead of time, but I didn't. Because that's just how it happens sometimes. So don't be me. Try to put your backing paper on earlier. And then, because that's going to look nice. That's going to look nicer than seeing my coloring on there. And then this piece, I'm just going to go ahead and line that up and put a hole in there. And then I need a tab just to, and I got glue on my finger, so I'm getting glue on my window sheet again. I need to cover up those glue dots, right? Because I don't like the glue dots showing. And I don't like the glue smudges on my acetate. So I found that this works pretty good to get those little adhesive boogers off of there from my fingers. All right. Yes, I did have less layers to punch this time. Easier on my hands from last night. All right. So now this piece, I think we'll just do a little fold over. That might get caught up in there though. Maybe we'll just put it on here and let it be flush. And it won't actually fold over. That'll be all right. Right? Because if I score it, because I think it's too short. Let's just score it and see what it looks like. And let's do a little bone folder here. Am I zoomed in too close? Can you see all right? So that'll go there. Oh, that will work. Because then we're going to put our little ribbon in here. This will pull out. No, it's going to get hung up on there, I think. It's hanging up. Where is it hanging up? It's hanging up on that layer. All right, so we're just going to cut this off. It is what it is. So this is just going to get glued on here. And that's going to be open there, but we're going to have some ribbon there, so it's just going to have to be all right. Thanks for popping in, Rosa. That'll be all right. So let's just get some seal on here. Oops. I was a little overzealous with my seal because it separates the cardstock. I might have to use tear and tape. The seal is going to be too strong. Who knew, right? Who knew it would be too strong? That's all right. I just want to make sure it's covered all the way. So we're just going to put that on there, and then I'm going to trim around here. All right. Are you making a card like this, Allie, or your own version of something else for your seniors? I probably should have taken one layer of this off first. Again, Lori wasn't thinking all the way. So I'm going to peel off this layer. And now I can stick that layer down and peel it off. And this is the weeding tool. It's not the one I meant to pick, but it works. All right. So let's go ahead and put this on here to hide our glue dots. And then we need one more hole punch. Oh, I'm glad you're making one like this. All right, so one more little hole punch in here. And now we can do this retired ribbon. Use whatever you have, right? And I'm going to do a lark's head, so I'm going to put the folded end in from the front. And then when we open it up and pull the tail through it, we're going to have the nice lark's head on here. Okay. So that, oh, guess what? This is sticking out a little bit, so it won't fit in my envelope. Oh, it's good. Phew. All right, so this is why we need that little tab, because, or the little notch, because otherwise your knot's going to hang over the edge. Your knot, huh? All right, let me go get a little hole punch. Itty bitty little hole punch. So we're going to go hopefully right about here. I'm going to mark this with the pencil because otherwise I'm probably going to get it in the wrong place. So here's the center. And we're just going to punch a little bit out of there. And then our little lark's head fits in there better. And then let's go ahead and punch a little bit out of here. So we're going to go there to there. And just take a little notch out of that as well. So it would probably be easier if you did your notches ahead of time instead of after like me, but like I said, that way you can learn from my mistakes. I learn by watching and then by doing myself and then, you know, showing somebody else. So All right, so here's this. And then when we pull this out, this is going to be attached. I think we're ready to attach this now. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to burnish this. I don't remember if I did that. We're going to burnish that. Your retired ribbon, Sala. So I added these little pieces of adhesive this time. I didn't do it last night. We'll see if it's a mistake. I think it'll be all right. And my thumb is really sore. I have to get some super glue on it. All right, and then this we're just going to close up right like so. Now we didn't decide, am I going to put this on here and emboss it? Because I should have probably done that before. I think we should maybe just add it here as a little element, maybe a round element. We'll add that on there, and then we can add some little white things. So this is in here now. There we go. It's a little temperamental. And you could always make your pull-out a little narrower, so this isn't quite so close, but it is what it is. All right, let's see. Lori from Minnesota, welcome. So here's our wow. So that'll go back in there, and when we pull it out, it becomes our fancy part. And we probably should have stamped it over a little bit further, but I wanted to make sure that they could see the whole thing there too. And in fact, we could probably round these edges. That might be good. I have a punch for that. Let's see if that works. This is a punch Stamp used to have. They don't have it anymore, and I'm disappointed. So if you've got a corner rounder punch, use what you have. Otherwise you could leave it, but I think it'll make it look just a little bit more finished. And then we could put our wording here, but I think it'll actually work better here. I'll put a layer on here so that I can cover up a couple of these little Mars. So there's a magic slider card. So let's do a quickie sentiment. Where did my thanks go? We'll do this. And do we want to do it on white? That's so slick. All right. Oh, that could be fun. Kind of sideways like that. I have an idea. Let's get this out of the way. If we did, what if we did? That might look too silly, huh? Of course, we could do it like that. Maybe I'll emboss it on here. We'll do it in white. And we'll see how it looks. Make sure I've got white and not clear. And Versamark. Thanks. There's just an itty bitty little there. So our weeding tool has multiple uses. I took off that extra embossing powder. Alright, get rid of this. Let's warm up the old heat gun. I'm glad you can't see my whole desk because it's really kind of messy. Here comes the magic more. Beautiful. Look what else I have. I just found these sitting over here. Maybe that could go behind there. We'll see. All right, so let's go ahead and cut that out. I'm going to go to my other machine so I don't have to mess this all up. Well, thanks for popping in, Sal. It was so good to hear from you. You enjoy the rest of your day or night. You're on daytime, so enjoy the rest of your day. I think we could probably just put it maybe right like so. I don't know if I need it under all of those flowers or not. I think we'll just go like this. That seems to fit pretty good. Does that cover up too much of this? Well, it's going to have to. That'll work. All right, let's put a little glue under here. Yeah, my whole studio is like out of control. Part of it is because I have multiple things going. Oops, that won't work because I can't cover that up. Ah! Let's dry this off. And that was almost a big mistake. Let's dry that off. Thanks for hanging out with us, Juju. All right, so this can only be glued along here. Oops, I just put glue on the acetate. Oh, for goodness sakes. Let's just go like this. Another use for our weeding tool. Maybe it doesn't want to come off that way either. All right, learn from my mistakes. When you're putting your sentiment on, make sure that you don't cover your frame. And now this is going to have to go there. That's all right. It'll still look pretty cool, I think. Because we have to make sure that this pulls out. And now I can take that remaining little glue off. That would have been bad if I wouldn't have realized that. There. All right, so there's our magic slider card number 2. Give this to somebody really special because you might have to give them instructions on how to work it. Pretty slick. All right, so let me pull out the one from last night. I have this eraser, but it just seems to smear it. So I don't know if there's a better one that I can use. I don't know if I should put that on there. Probably not. But here's our card from last night for those of you that didn't see it. So that was cute. And then I did finish up the back like so, and I put those little flower cutouts on there. And then let's find a few little embellishments because I think it needs some dots. Yeah, the glue is dry, but even when I did it, it's smeared. So I don't know if it's just because I have other residue on here or what. I don't know. But I got it off with the tape. The tape worked pretty good, actually. All right, so let's do a couple of these here. Maybe another one over there. And then maybe some Wink of Stella. Maybe I should have just put one over here and 2 on the top. I don't know, what do you think? No. There, that'll work. All right. Add a little shimmer to these. think this one's almost done for too. Oh, there's still some coming here. I just was able to squeeze a little bit more out here. Now it's really flowing. A little bit more on these, I guess. There. All right. I don't know if you can see the shimmer. You can see the shimmer of the window sheet. I'm having a hard time talking tonight. But there is some Wink of Stella. I don't know if that shows or not, but it's really pretty nice looking, I guess. Magic. So that's all I got. Thank you, Lori. I thought this one would go a little faster than the one last night, but I guess I'm still kind of learning my process, you know, what works, what didn't. And I laid it out. I mean, it's laid out the same, I guess, but different. So, all right, caps. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me, everyone. And for those of you that hung out to the end, I appreciate your perseverance. I don't know where the cover to my snips went. It'll turn up somewhere. There it is. All right, and like Sala said, you know, give me a thumbs up if you feel like it on the way out. I appreciate it. The more interaction I get like that, the more this gets pushed out to other people. And then the more the merrier, right? So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this card. I hope you try it. And maybe you'll come up with some other ideas that work better than what I did. And if you find something that works better, let me know. Because we can always do another replay and teach everybody else if you found some other tricks. So I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Lori. And I'm going to just put my last couple of comments in here. And we will call it a night. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Go check out the lunar eclipse of the blood moon. Good night, friends. We will catch you next time. Happy crafting.